Alright guys, so let's get into my DC film library. Now I don't have a ton of DC stuff in comparison to other collectors, because I'm not really into DC all that much. I like Marvel more. There's some themes in DC I like, but I don't really like the overall darker tone. Anyways, this is what I've got for DC films. I've got the non-DCEU stuff, the classic Superman and Batman films. I've got some other little cool things thrown in there, and then we get into the DCEU, and I don't have the entire DCEU, I only have a few of the films. Alright, let's begin with Superman the movie from 1978. This film lit the box office on fire. This was really the flame ignition to the idea of doing superhero movies, and you know what? I've only seen it once, and it was like 2 years ago when I had the flu. I watched it in my bed. This was 2 years ago. But I do also have Superman the movie, the 4-disc box set. This is in pretty bad condition with the disc being scratched up. But I only paid $1 for it, so got like disc there, and then disc here. You get a lot of bonus features, and my goodness, those discs like to fall out. I don't know what I'm going to do about that, because they keep getting scratched up, and it's so annoying. Like, just stay in the disc holder. I don't understand it. Anyways, yeah, no, like I said, these are pretty beat up. At least this one is. Like, holy cow, that's a lot of marks. But, you know, whatever. I can tell what the issue is here. It's just completely shot, the disc holder thing. It's just completely messed up, but yeah, it's what I've got. I might pick up a new copy relatively soon if I find one for a good price, but still very happy to own it. Alright, then we've got the theatrical cut of Superman 2. I actually like this artwork that they use of Superman flying over the city. And you got the disc, of course, got the little pamphlet thing. Starting to come apart, maybe. I don't like these snapper cases at all. I kind of hate them, but they exist. And then you've got Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut. This was one of the first director's cuts for a superhero film. I mean, like, to this point, director's cuts were pretty unheard of. I think the only really big films that got them were Once Upon a Time in America and Blade Runner. Both films that I hate, but still, they did kind of start leading the train of, okay, there's these films that have different versions. Anyways, Superman 3. Got this at a St. Vincent de Paul in Fremont. Like I said, I haven't seen these movies in quite a bit, but they're honestly pretty bad. Superman 3 and 4, they are not that good. And do I like the theatrical or director's cut of Superman 2 more? I don't know. I think I don't care either way, but I should check them both out. Anyways, here's Smallville, the television series pilot, I think. I don't know what this is. It's not in the best condition either. I picked it up at not at the St. Vincent, at the Opportunity House in Fremont. I did pick this up. It's okay. Like, whatever. I haven't watched it. I tried watching Smallville. I couldn't get through it. It was just way too long and way too boring. I think it was just too old. It was too old for a television show about superheroes. It felt very, very cheesy. Anyways, that's just my opinion, though. But here we have the Brandon Routh starring Superman film. This is Superman Returns, the 2-disc special edition, which I must confirm that these discs can have disc rot. And they can fall out of their cases. Darn it. Oh, right, I have 2 copies of the bonus DVD. No, but they can. Superman Returns is known for having disc rot issues, which probably explains why the first copy of this I bought did nothing. Whatever. You know, I'll replace it. It's pretty easy to get a new copy of it, and I could upgrade to Blu-ray, but I don't really care. It is pretty unfortunate, though, to think of that in 20 years that disc will be hot garbage, and I barely would have to do anything to it. Really unfortunate. Alright, so now we got a couple Superman documentaries. Look Up in the Sky, The Amazing Story of Superman, the single disc edition. I probably should get rid of this. I don't really want to have duplicates of things. Like, if I have it, you know, keep the better version and get rid of the old one. But I do have 2 copies. I have the 2-disc edition here with special Superman Returns extras. And, yeah, I mean, it is a pretty cool set. I haven't watched it. But like I said, I don't need 2 versions of the same documentaries. Whatever. I'll probably get rid of the other one. Here is the 1984 Helen Slater Supergirl movie. This is a pretty bad film. It is a terrible Superman movie, because the story is not super at all, really. She goes off and fights a random witch. What in the Superman universe? It isn't, like, even a super witch or anything like that. It's just, like, your standard, I don't know, Harry Potter, Narnia one. It's so dumb. There's scenes in here that are so boring. There's even an extended cut with, like, 15 minutes of extra footage. Like, excuse me, do you understand how bored people are watching this? Whatever. But now we get on to the Batman stuff. The 1966 Batman film. Whatever. You know, it was one I was looking for. I think it's pretty funny to have, because Batman's so dark nowadays, that going back to this, it's, like, pretty funny how lighthearted this was. I'll probably get a kick out of the TV show as well, but it's a cool find. Got it at Half Price Books. And then I have the 4 2-disc special editions of the early Batman anthology series. So, you know, obviously all 4 films. Batman from 1989. 2-disc. Batman Returns from 1992. 2-disc. Batman Forever, 2-disc from 1995. And I have watched a fan edit. Someone did, putting in the other stuff, like the deleted scenes and everything, trying to come up with a Red Book edition of it. It was actually really good. The beginning was actually horrifying. Like, I will be honest, it was pretty terrifying, but it was still a great edit. I love the bat scene. I don't know why there hasn't been a director's cut. You have all the footage. Just do it. Just release it for, like, a 50th anniversary, whenever that is. You'd make a lot of fans happy. But here's Batman and Robin. Oh boy, this film is hot garbage. If there were any redeeming qualities about Batman Forever, they basically took all of them, dialed them up to 11, and then set them on fire. That is how I'd sum up Batman and Robin. Because I think Batman Forever was going in a direction that I like more, it being more lighthearted and not overly dark. But still, it's a terrible movie, Batman and Robin. Like, whatever. I'm honestly surprised it got a PG-13 rating with how cheesy it is. I'm honestly surprised. Alright, let's get into the later DC stuff. So we've got Ryan Reynolds in Green Lantern, the Blu-ray plus DVD edition. I had this before, but it was only the single disc one, and I was like, I want to get the version with the director's cut, extended cut, sorry, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I may not even like this movie, but I like owning the different versions. I think it's really cool to be like, yeah, there's this version, but there's also this version. Or you could be like Blade Runner, where you have 18 different versions, and no one can even decide which one is the best or the worst. Doesn't have 18 different versions, but still. It's kind of insane. I don't like that movie, but I am fascinated by how they ended up with so many different iterations. Alright, now we got the DCEU stuff. So this is going all the way from 2013 all the way to 2023. I'm missing some films because I don't like them and I don't want to pick them up. So this is what I basically got. Man of Steel, the Blu-ray plus DVD edition, I got at Half Price Books in the clearance section. And I distinctly remember picking this up at the one in Dublin. You got the original price on here. Yeah, it wasn't $6, it was only $3. But it's a very cool set. you know, I like the slipcover. I like the case artwork. It's nice. I'd love to get the nice, you know, steelbook, like, S edition. The one that comes in the really cool, like, box. But I'm not going to pay a lot of money for it. That's what I do. I like collecting cool sets, but I'm not going to pay, like, $50 to get it. No, thank you. Batman v Superman. This one, I actually don't mind the theatrical cut that much. I actually think that the director's cut might make it worse. Because I like that the theatrical cut basically got away with a PG-13 rating. I don't like that they just pushed it to an R with the director's cut. I totally, you know, am fine with them both existing, but I don't know. I'd prefer them both to be PG-13. I don't think the extra violence makes the film better. I think it's the deleted scenes that make it better. Alright. Then you got Justice League, 2017. Oh yeah, I guess I should have shown Wonder Woman. Let me pull that out. Sorry. These are completely messed up. Where are my Wonder Woman films? There they are. Okay. So we got Wonder Woman from 2017. 2017. This is a great film. This is a really good movie. The final act may not be the best, sure, but, like, getting there, it was really strong. And then Wonder Woman 1984, I actually really like some of the ideas in this film. The idea of greed, the idea of power, the idea of, like, you can't get everything you want without consequences. I think they're good themes. I just think the execution was terrible. Anyways, I do like the film, though. And I did get it with a Blu-ray because I wanted to check out, well, one, it has a nice slipcover and stuff. But I did want to check out a fan edit or two that someone had done. So I made sure to get an official copy of the film, and then I did it. You know, then I watched it. But I was not about to watch it before I had the film. So, anyways, here's Justice League, aka Justice League. What they did to Zack Snyder was so dirty and it was awful what they did. I still watch Justice League sometimes to just laugh at it, how bad it is and whatever. But it is a truly terrible movie that could have so easily been better. I mean, sure, there's issues with it. The director's cut, it's way too long, but at the same time, it at least followed what he had set up. Anyways, speaking of the director's cut, I have 2 copies of Zack Snyder's Justice League, and the reason I have 2 of them is this. I wanted to own the film on Blu-ray, because I had the other 2 films in the trilogy on Blu-ray, but the fact is, it didn't come with a DVD, and I mainly have DVD players, and so I just decided to keep both copies. I got the director's cut at that store where I picked up the Superman the movie set with the 4 discs, so I got it for like $1, and I love this movie so much. I've watched it at least 2 or 3 times. It's a great movie. It feels like a big, epic... I just love how epic it is. And I like the score, and I like the visual style, and I like the colors and the storylines they were thinking of. Not all of them, but I like how inspired it was. And I really would have been curious to see how it would have all ended. But, alas, we're moving on. We're getting the DCEU, and maybe it'll be better. That's all we can hope for. Alright, so next we got the 2018 Aquaman film. Right here, which I actually really like. I think this is a great superhero movie. I've seen it twice. It could be a little bit better, but you know what? The final battle between Arthur and Orm is exciting. You've got lightning, you've got thunder, you've got swords clashing. They may be spears or tridents, but you get the idea. It's this big epic battle. I love this movie. It's really good. And I saw it right before I went and saw the sequel, which we will talk about. Shazam! From 2019. This film actually is pretty good. but I've only seen it once. And I'm slightly worried that if I see it again, I will hate it more than I did the first time. Or I won't hate it more, but I will see the issues with it. But you know what? You know why Shazam works? Because it knows when to stop. The first Shazam film blends heart and comedy while not going over the top with either of them. And that's why the sequel fails. It is completely way too ridiculous. The jokes are not funny. It is really corny. It is really gross and crappy. I walked out of the second Shazam film. And I've only walked out of like 1 or 2 films in my life. That film was terrible. I'm almost tempted to give it a rewatch, because I feel like I could re-edit it, but no. Shazam 2 is truly horrible. And what a way to start off 2023. But I guess you could continue it with an absolute banger of a film, in my opinion, The Flash. I love this movie so much. I've seen this one at least 3 or 4 times. It is so fun. I love the multiversal elements. I love just how fun it is. It's a really fun movie. It isn't boring and dark and down. It's a really fun story that I think works better when it's trying to tell a story about Barry and his mom. I think when it's trying to tell a family story, it works better. When it doesn't, and it's just giving you the member berries or things like that, it still works, but not as well. And Michael Keaton does a great job. Alright, then I got Blue Beetle. I actually really like this film. This film was amazing. And no wonder they're continuing with it, because it made a great impact. On a review sense, I mean, a lot of people liked Blue Beetle, including me. Alright, and then we got the final film in the DCEU. This is the latest edition, and it's very poetic, I guess, that this is the last DCEU film I will pick up, at least for a very long while, if ever. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And you know what? This film isn't that bad. I'll show you the disc quickly. But I honestly don't think Aquaman 2 is that bad. Especially with all the rumors going around of reshoots, this film works. It tells a compelling story, it has fun action, it has a nice brother, duo story. There's a lot of things in here that work. It's a really strong, maybe not a really strong film, but it's a decent film. It doesn't feel like X-Men Dark Phoenix, it doesn't feel like Madam Web. I haven't seen Madam Web, but it doesn't feel like a film that was completely destroyed. It doesn't feel like Justice League. It feels like it works, and it could be better. It could do with an extended cut. It could, but I like it as it is. And that is it for the entire DC movie collection I have, and for all the other superhero films that I have in 2024. All in all, I think I have some great films, and I really do like the ones that I own. Some I've never seen, but I'd say my superhero collection has quite a few classic films and some true dumpster fires. Alright guys, thanks for watching, peace out, and bye for now.